Hey, what's up, everybody? So it is currently June 30th, meaning we're about 1 month away from Packers training camp getting started. So we're in that period of the season, or the period of the year, I guess, for the NFL, where there's honestly not really much happening whatsoever. Throughout the entire offseason, we had the draft, we had free agency, we had all these other times where there's news coming out pretty consistently. And now we're at a place where the Packers just had, OTAs a few weeks ago, mini camp. And now we're in that period where we're just waiting for the season to come. It feels like it's been forever since the Packers lost to the 49ers. I was thinking the other day, I was talking with my mom about it, saying it's crazy that it was only 5 months ago that the Packers played in the playoffs and lost to the 49ers. It honestly feels like it's been years, which is crazy. Like it feels like a long, long time ago. So now we are only a month away from the season. And honestly, looking at the NBA today, with all of the things going down with Kevin Durant wanting to be traded from the Knicks, or not from the Knicks, from the Brooklyn Nets, it has me like wanting that NFL news to start coming because clearly we're just not in a time right now where that NFL news is going to come. And I honestly live for those days where there's just news dropping left and right for the Packers and the NFL. And so it looks like the NBA is in that time right now. So it's a pretty interesting time for the NBA. NFL, definitely not as much going on. So I wanted to come in here, go live, talk about the Packers offseason, talk about a few different things, and then answer some of your guys' questions and talk with some of you guys as well to hear your thoughts on the Packers right now, the Packers situation. It has been a while since I went live talking about the Packers, and so I figured we would do it. So first off here, I want to go to a comment I saw earlier before the stream started. Where is that comment? Maybe it disappeared in my thing. So we have Kevin Durant, who seems to want to leave the Nets. And if Kevin Durant wanted to join the NFL, come over to the Packers, a 6'10" tight end / wide receiver, I think it would be a nice situation here in Green Bay. I would, let Kevin Durant come in here with open arms. We probably don't have enough money to pay him, but anyways, is this pre-recorded? I'll show you. It is not. I popped that comment up on the screen. This is not pre-recorded. This is live, but I wanted to start off there giving my thoughts on the current situation we are in. And I'm using this new software so I can pop people's comments up onto the chat here. Yep, that was your comment. There you go. And then Doug says, forget the past. The future is bright. Yeah, the Packers, haven't been to the Super Bowl in what, 9, 10, 11 years. It's been a while. But Doug, the future is bright. I go into every season believing. I feel like that's lots of NFL fans. Every offseason, you're like, you know what? I believe that we got a shot to go far this year. And I honestly do. Every single year. I mean, even in the past few years with the Packers, as we've lost, it's I think we've had teams in the past that had the ability to go to the Super Bowl. It's just you just need lots of things to fall your way. And when you have one game where you don't come together and play to your fullest potential, you can obviously not make it all the way to the Super Bowl. Just like for the Packers, I think this past year, we had a team that was playing at a very high level. We just come in versus the 49ers, don't play a good game in the moment where it matters most. And unfortunately, we lost that game. But I do think the Packers roster is good enough to go very far this next year, as it has been for a while, but especially this year from the defense. So Kevin Joseph Cruz says here, 2011 Super Bowl, it's been a minute. It has been a minute since the Packers went to the Super Bowl and won a Super Bowl. And I'm hoping that this next season we can, change that. Hopefully this next season we can change that and we'll finally get a taste of the Super Bowl once again. Hopefully. Let's see here. We have by Kiko Play says, do you think we should sign Julio or Beckham to a cheap 2-year deal? So when it comes to Julio Jones and Odell Beckham Jr., I would not be opposed to signing either of these players to a 2-year deal. I think a 1-year deal would make more sense. I think that would make more sense. I think someone like Julio is probably looking around his options right now, and maybe he'll wait until a little bit later to make his decision. I think the Packers do have enough money to sign Julio Jones. Will Brian Gutekunst do it? I don't know. I don't think we need to. I've said this in the past. I don't think we necessarily need to come in and sign a Julio Jones or an Odell Beckham. Would it help? Of course. Like if I got that notification, the Packers signed Julio Jones, I would be like, oh my gosh, this is great. We got another legit receiver. Does he have injury worries? Of course, but lots of players do. Maybe he does more because he's a little bit, more up there in age. But at the same time, I would not be opposed to have either of those players. For Odell Beckham, of course, with his ACL injury, he'll probably be ready, more later in the season. So we'll see. Maybe he waits to sign till he's ready to go. And he did comment on a Packers post. What was that, like a month or so ago? He's probably just trying to get people, talking. I think he also commented on a Bengals post as well. So who knows? Last year, though, with Odell, it was between the Rams and the Packers, and he chose the Rams. Maybe this year he will choose the Packers. Who knows? We do have $17 million right now in cap space. So just saying. PJ Tucker to the 76ers. Did he just do that? Yeah, there's lots of NFL news flying out right now. Lots of NFL news flying out. All right, from Bryce Robinson. What's up, Bryce? Hope you're doing well. Bryce Robinson says, we've had strong teams in recent years. It's just our team not playing well enough in the playoffs. No, definitely. I definitely agree with that. When we look at last year, we had the team. I really think we did. We saw throughout the year, the Packers offense was pretty solid, 10th best scoring offense in the NFL. We come in versus the 49ers and just don't get it done, unfortunately. Let's see. Here we have responding to the Julio / Odell to the Packers idea. Don't want either one of them. The wide receiver room is full. I do think we have a lot of wide receivers right now. There's no doubt about that. There is some uncertainty with the wide receivers that are here a little bit. We have some. I think Allen Lazard is going to have a very productive season, probably his most productive season of his entire time here in Green Bay, because of course Devontae and like his 200 targets or however many targets, it's a lot of targets, are gone, as well as MVS's targets are gone. So Allen Lazard, I think, is going to have a really good year. I think there's no doubt about that. Hopefully he can do a lot. Then we have Sammy Watkins. Hopefully he can stay healthy. If he can stay healthy, it's a big if, but if he can stay healthy, then the Packers have lots of options at wide receiver. We'll just see who rises to the top. Hopefully Christian Watson can come in and be a beast, which I think the Packers think he can. If you trade two of your second-round draft picks for a player to move up, I think it shows just how much the Packers believe he can be good. But will it happen in year one? I hope so. But we'll just have to wait and see which wide receivers rise to the top. All right, look at some more of these comments here. So we have here from Mick Crocodile Dundee. What's up, Mick? So he says we got to get Gary a deal done soon before he has a monster year and wants $100 million. Yeah, so he does. He's going into his fourth year, so he has his. The Packers did, get his fifth year option exercise. Like, what was it? Sometime in the past year or something, or the past few months. I can't remember exactly when it was. But yeah, they could decide to pay him beforehand, but at the same time, they could just wait till the year's over and give him a massive deal, which he's probably going to be paid as one of the top edge rushers in the NFL because he produced as it last year. And so I think he is going to have a monster year coming in here. And the Packers, I think, are gonna pay him. They're going to pay him. I don't exactly know when, but I don't think the Packers allow him to leave Green Bay. No doubt about that. Oh, thank you so much. We have a $5 donation from Patrick Forney. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. You say, just want to thank you for a great job. Go Pack Go. I appreciate that a lot, Patrick. Thank you. And go Pack Go as always. All right, I'm trying to get to as many comments as I can. Here we go. So we have here from Baikiko Plays again. Do you think the Packers can have a top 3 defense if they stay healthy? Yeah, if the Packers defense stays healthy, I think the Packers can have a top 5 defense. We look last year, they were the 10th best scoring defense in the NFL. And then you look this year to the additions we've had to the fact we're coming into the second year of Joe Barry's defense, where, the players have a good grasp of the defense, and now we're coming into the second year. And then we're just also the big factor, bringing back Jair, who missed most of last season. And the fact we were the 10th best defense last year without Jair, that alone in itself is going to make this defense that much better. And then you also add on top of that Quay Walker alongside Devondre Campbell and then Devontae Wyatt. I do think the Packers, if they stay healthy, they definitely have a chance to be a top 5 defense, which is definitely going to make, everything easier for this entire team, just because, when you have a defense playing that at that level, of course, we still need the offense to play well, but they don't have to have quite as much pressure on them, which, will be nice. It will be nice. Let's see. I'm trying to hide. I'm figuring out this new software I have here, which allows me to pop up some of these comments up here. You said if you made a jersey swap, what I showed on stream. Honestly, with this new software I have, I honestly don't know how to pop things up because I'm using a different software. But if you sent me the jersey swap on Instagram or Twitter, maybe I posted on my channel on the community tab, possibly. Let's see here. So we have from Kevin Joseph Cruz, we got AJ Dillon and Jones as our 1+2 running back, but what about our third RB? I think his last name was Hill. Could he be a factor? Yeah, Kylan Hill, who last year was the Packers' 7th round draft pick. He did tear his ACL. I think it was a game versus the Cardinals, the same one that Robert Tonyan tore his ACL in. And we don't exactly know when he will be back. Hopefully it's sometime soon, maybe by the time the year starts. And if he is healthy, I think he will be the Packers' third running back because he really honestly looked good in the times that he was playing. But if he's not healthy, I'm guessing Patrick Taylor is most likely going to be the player to fill that third spot because, I mean, when he played last year, he looked good in the short period of time that he did play, especially last year back in the preseason. Here we have from Infinite A. AJ Dillon is going to take the reins this year, but Jones will be a check down beast for Rodgers. Yeah, I still feel like when it comes to Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon, they're probably going to, split the load similarly, just because of, I mean, they're both insanely talented. A little different running backs. AJ Dillon with that power, his thighs are massive. It's insane how powerful AJ Dillon is, and I'm excited. I mean, if AJ Dillon wasn't, if Aaron Jones wasn't here with AJ Dillon, I honestly can't imagine just how many yards AJ Dillon would rush for. Because I think last year it was like 800 rush yards for Dillon. With Aaron Jones still there, Jones did miss some time, from injury, but still, I mean, to have two players of the caliber we do at running back, it's pretty great. It's a great scenario there. So even though we did lose, wide receivers, I mean, Devontae, MVS, and there are question marks there. We could be completely fine. There's just uncertainty because we haven't seen, lots of these guys play in this Packers offense with Aaron Rodgers, but to have a backfield like that is definitely going to make things easier because both of those guys can catch the ball as well. So Rodgers can rely on the receivers he has, plus AJ Dillon, and Aaron Jones. All right, we have here from JT Womack. We won the Super Bowl in 2011 with the number 2 defense in points allowed, number 5 in passing yards allowed, and number 18 in rushing yards allowed. What about now? I mean, I think the Packers defense could look similar when it comes to producing as they did back in that year we did win the Super Bowl. People say defense wins championships, so hopefully that's the case. And if the Packers defense can, play as well as they did last year, especially like the game versus the 49ers, we just need this offense to step up a little, which I hope they can. I think they definitely have the ability. Just the question is, can they? And hopefully they can. And hopefully they can, make their way all the way to the Super Bowl because there's nothing more I want to see than the Green Bay Packers in the Super Bowl once again. Because it's been 11, 12 years. I was like 12 years old when that happened. 12, 13, something. It's been a while. I want to have, another fond memory of the Packers winning a Super Bowl. No doubt about that. Alex, are you here? I'll put it up here. Are you planning to come over to the UK for the game in London? I'm not planning on that. It's a little too far of travel for me. But are you, Alex? Are you going? Do you have anything on big man defensive lineman Jonathan Ford? Honestly, because he was our 7th round draft pick. I believe it was 7th round draft pick. He's a massive guy. I can't remember exactly how big he is, but he's like 330 pounds, something like that. So I do think the Packers defensive line this year is going to be very good. The best in a long time with Devontae Wyatt already. Kenny Clark, and then adding Jaron Reed from the Chiefs, who was who played a lot of snaps last year. He wasn't as dominant last year as maybe a few years before, but yeah, I don't know too much about Jonathan Ford, but he's a big, massive man, and I feel like the Packers you can use more of those guys on the defensive line. Plus have TJ Slayton too, coming into his second season. I think he could definitely be a lot better coming into this next year as well. Kevin Joseph. Oh, shoot. Oh my goodness, Doug, $50. That is insanely generous. That is very, very generous of you. I really appreciate that. That's a lot to donate. So wow. Thank you, Doug. You leave comments all the time. So I appreciate you supporting the channel right now and as you have for a long time. So I really appreciate you, Doug. Football in 70 days. Go Pack Go. Is it 70 days till the Packers play? Or is it 70 days till the NFL season starts? I don't know, because I guess we're at June 30th. Season starts like September. Yeah, we're almost there. A couple months, maybe a little more than a couple months. But Doug, thank you so much. Dude, I really appreciate that. Very much, very much. What's up, Julian? How's it going? Great to see you. Yeah, it is funny right now being in a time where there's nothing happening, barely anything happening when it comes to the Packers. I can't wait till there's more news dropping because that's when it's exciting. I love when this news is dropping. There's lots of stuff to talk about. And I started this video talking about how the NBA today, there's tons of stuff going down right now. There's probably more stuff that's happened since I, started coming on this stream. But the biggest thing with Kevin Durant saying he wants to leave the Brooklyn Nets, because it sort of seemed like things were getting resolved with the Knicks, or not the Knicks, with Kyrie Irving and Durant, because there was those questions a few days ago if Kyrie was going to get traded. But now if Kevin Durant wants to leave, Kyrie probably wants to leave too, I'm guessing. That's not Packers talk, but it is pretty big, sports news right now. It's pretty interesting to say the least. Let's see here. CED or CED, I don't know how you say that. In 2011, we had a balanced offense, run/pass, was within like 35 difference in rush/pass attempts. Okay, interesting. Definitely interesting. Yeah, I was looking at some things earlier today from that year, and that was the year that James Starks, because Cedric Benson was the running back during that season, and then James Starks came in and played a lot in the playoffs. I don't have as great memory of that time. I was a lot younger, but still, yeah, hopefully we can return to the way we looked that year. You said KD wants to get out of Brooklyn. He does. That I thought they're going to stay another year. Apparently not. KD wants to leave. So who knows where KD's going to end up? Where do you guys think Kevin Durant's going to end up? I heard what Miami and Phoenix are the top 2 options, supposedly. We'll see if that happens. Alex, your boy, Ali G, Chipotle or not today? I'm probably going to get Chipotle after this. I probably will. As many of you guys know, I have Chipotle. Almost every day for dinner. I don't cook dinner for myself. I did for a period, but I just prefer Chipotle. I just, they cook it for me. I walk in, I grab it, and I'm out. So, yeah, probably Chipotle right after this. Yeah. Never disappoints. I never get tired of it somehow. Who knows? I don't know. I thought I would by now. It's been years. No. All right, we got Kyrie opted in the year of his deal. I think we will be in Brooklyn. You think he'll be in Brooklyn for one more year? I thought that, but then I saw in the past hour with Kevin Durant wanting to be traded, it said that it looks like Kyrie might want to too now. So who knows? Maybe he stays. Maybe he goes. We don't exactly know what's going to happen there. But yeah, okay. We have here from Chuck, Balaga would be a good idea. Yeah, because I made that video today because someone did comment yesterday about Balaga being a free agent. So I was digging into that and I was like, okay, he was injured the past couple of seasons. He is 33 years old. He's up there in age. And it's definitely a risk, but I think that, it could be a good risk worth taking if you only have to pay him $1 million or $2 million, just because he has that Super Bowl experience. And I feel like there has to be something to be said about a player who's won a Super Bowl with an organization, to have a guy like that in the locker room. I feel like that brings something, to it, because if the Packers do go to the playoffs, obviously you have lots of players there who have playoff experience, but a guy who's won a Super Bowl, that could be a benefit in and of itself. And if he were to be healthy, and let's say Bakhtiari or Elton Jenkins, miss more time, and he is healthy, maybe he comes back and plays as his prior self as he used to play before he was injured, and that would be a good value. So I think it could make sense. Will it happen? I feel like it probably won't, but you never know. You never know what could happen. What's up, Zawar? How's it going? Let's see. What would be your thoughts on a Packers versus Raiders Super Bowl? Now, that would be interesting to have Aaron Rodgers facing off against Devontae Adams. That would be it. That would be an insane story the year Devontae leaves to go to the Raiders. The Raiders do have a great team now. Especially when you add Devontae Adams to that roster. There's no doubt I think their offense is going to be a lot better with Devontae. I am curious to see how he plays with Derek Carr versus how he was playing with Aaron Rodgers, because there's definitely a big difference there. Derek Carr is still a solid quarterback. He's not Aaron Rodgers, but I think when you have the chemistry they already had together back in the day, I definitely think that the Raiders are going to have a solid team. Will they end up in the Super Bowl? I don't know. I would say other teams have a better chance, but you never know. You never know what could happen. We have here Infinite 8. Balaga doesn't appeal to me personally. He's pretty much shot in terms of health. He won't last as a backup or a starter. Yeah, who knows? Maybe he is too injured. I don't know his personal or his exact situation, like if he's looking good now, if he's not looking good. But if there's a chance he could be healthy, I feel like he could take a shot on it. We have Alex, your boy. Think Amos stays with the Packers? That's a good question, because after this year, the Packers have to decide if they want to pay him again, which I think he's a great player. But I'm not sure if they will. We have Darnell Savage under his 5th-year option for next year. So I'm curious. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. That we have from Kevin Joseph. After A-Rod wins a ring with the Packers and retires, is Jordan Love our future, or should the Packers draft a great QB? So if that scenario happened, if Aaron Rodgers comes in, wins the Super Bowl this year, and then retires, I think the Packers would 100% go with Jordan Love, just considering they drafted him in the first round. I don't think they're going to give up on him yet. If Rodgers won a Super Bowl and he retired and they hadn't already gotten rid of Jordan Love by that point, I mean, I think that Jordan Love is definitely, if Aaron leaves after this year, he's definitely going to be the starter. That's my opinion. I think that's what they would do. I just don't think they would keep him for this long. And then the second Rodgers leaves, if it were to be soon, I don't think they would just move on from Jordan then. I think they would give Jordan a chance. And I've said in the past that I think that he does need a chance, like at a full season, like, okay, you're the starter, come in here, it's your team, go lead and see what you can do when you have the opportunity to really like play a full year, because it's hard to judge a guy off of like 2 games where he's just coming in to fill in. Obviously, you wanted him to look good in those games, and he didn't look great. He looked fine. Not great, honestly, but I think he just needs to take more time, because I think Brett Favre in his first year, if you look at he threw like 4 passes and like 2 interceptions, and then got traded from the Falcons to the Packers, and things worked out well. So if you base it off a few snaps, or just a few, a small sample size, it's hard to know. So if Rodgers retired after this year, definitely give the reins to Jordan Love. Give him at least a year. If he plays good and you think he can build on it, keep going. If he plays absolutely terrible and you think that there's no future there, then I think you move on after a year. But the thing is, though, we don't know when Rodgers is going to retire. If Rodgers retires in like 3 years, maybe Jordan Love leaves by that point. But who exactly knows when that's going to happen? I'm invisible to Luke. Oh, I think you were visible there. Let's see. Rude Boy, Rude B. I'm praying we sign Amos to an extension because Savage is up and down. Yeah, last year, Savage, I was just looking, he allowed like a passer. When he was targeted, he allowed a passer rating of 115 or something. So he wasn't as great in coverage last season. So hopefully he can get back to his prior self. He still played okay. And I think that having those guys back there, it's a very good safety combo, good safety duo. But there is some uncertainty outside of those 2 guys, outside of those 2 starters, when it comes to the depth for the Packers on their at safety. It looks like Sean Davis could be the 3rd guy right now, 5th-round pick from the Colts in 2021, who has looked like he's been the 3rd guy. So there are some questions for the future in safety, but this year I think we're set. We're set. Yeah, so I sort of answered that one. Let's see. Biko Plays says, I'm scared to pick Devontae as my first wide receiver in fantasy because Nelson did terrible when he went to the Raiders. I know Devontae's better, but I don't know how he will do. I feel like Devontae will play well. I mean, the thing is, you don't know because it is a different situation. There's no doubt he's a great receiver, but Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers. So I have seen people say, oh, Devontae's not going to be as good in Las Vegas, which is it possible? It's possible. But I think he still has that talent that's going to allow him to be successful. And I think Derek Carr is a good enough quarterback, and they've had that connection. I think he'll be good. I think he's fine to pick if you pick him in your fantasy draft. But, I mean, you never know. You never know. And then here we have from Infinite 8, getting rid of Benkert. Seems like the Packers are committing to Love in the situation that Rodgers retires after this year. Yeah, so getting rid of Benkert, as Benkert said when he was let go of, it was sort of, he was grateful for it because now he has the opportunity to maybe find another team, before training camp starts. So the Packers were like last year when the final roster cuts came, Kurt Benkert was playing in the preseason for the Packers. And then the Packers decided to only keep 2 quarterbacks in Rodgers and Jordan Love. And so that's probably going to happen once again. So Kurt Benkert probably knew he wasn't going to make the team once again. And so I think the Packers because the Packers drafted Jordan Love in the first round, I think they're going to hold on to Jordan Love until either Rodgers keeps playing and they just have no choice but to, move on from Love, because eventually once his, rookie contract expires, who knows what's going to happen there if Rodgers is still playing. That's where I think Love could end up somewhere else and maybe the Packers trade him. But because we don't know what Rodgers is going to do, he said he's playing this year, which is great, and I'm pumped about that. But we don't know after that, so I think that's why you keep Jordan Love, because he's still an athletic player, talented player. We don't know what he can be, so definitely have to hold on to Love for the time being. That's my opinion. I know everyone has a different opinion, but that's sort of my thought on the situation. Packers fan 08. Packers are going to have a top 3 defense. Dude, I hope so. I think they can. I've talked about it earlier today on this stream. But yeah, I think they definitely have the potential to be one of the best defenses in the NFL. Definitely no doubt about that. We should get Julio. Yeah, I would not be opposed. If Julio Jones is on the Packers, I mean, I would be fine with that. I think you can get him for a somewhat cheap contract considering he is Julio Jones. Does have some injury worry, but at the same time, he is Julio Jones. Infinite 8, thank you, Luke. No problem. No problem, Infinite 8. Let's see here. Tim Kong says, will Chris Barnes start as LB2 or Quay Walker? So I think it's going to be Quay Walker. We saw, I think it was last week, 2 weeks ago at OTAs. Can't remember exactly when it was, but both of those guys were there, and Quay Walker was like playing ahead of him. Who knows exactly what that means? But I think with the Packers drafting him at number 22 overall, with just that fact, I think that he has the athletic ability. He's so similar to Devondre Campbell when you look at their size. Like, he's 6'4", just like Devondre Campbell, and he's 240, where Campbell's 230. So they're very, very similarly built, and they have like similar styles where Quay can cover and tackle. He barely missed any tackles in college. So I think that Quay Walker is going to start over Chris Barnes. I do think that's going to happen by the time the season starts. I think he's just too talented to not do that. But I still think the Packers could, use Chris Barnes in certain situations because Chris Barnes, is talented as well. Here we have Bikiko plays again. Rashawn Gary with advisor. He can have a 10-plus sack season. Mark my words. No, I think he will. I definitely think he will. I saw a stat the other day where I think he was first when it came to pressure rate, like what percentage of his snaps he pressured the quarterback. I think it was up there at like 18%. I'm pretty sure it's number 1 last year in the NFL. So 10-plus sacks, I could see it coming. I could definitely, see that one coming. And then we have Geik says Chris Barnes is a solid rotational player. Yeah, no, I agree. I think that, if you need to sub him in from time to time, definitely. But it's crazy to look at this Packers like linebacker group now, considering a few years ago, like middle linebacker was our weakness. We brought in Christian Kirksey. Was that 2020? I think it was 2020 from the Browns. He was injured a lot. And for a long time, that was the Packers' weakness, but now it's like our strength after getting Devondre Campbell. And then to come in at 22 and draft Quay Walker, like I didn't expect the Packers to pick a middle linebacker. But, I mean, now looking at it, I think it makes lots of sense to have 2 players who can, play against the run. You can keep out there in passing downs. I think that it's going to be great for this defense, honestly. Packers fan 08, we potentially could have a lot of Pro Bowlers. Definitely. This roster is very loaded. And as someone was mentioning earlier in the stream, the Packers had one of the best defenses in the NFL back in 2011 when we won the Super Bowl. I mean, it's looking a little similar to that. Just when it comes to the potential of this defense, I'm not going to say we're going to be the best defense. We have the potential, and that's the thing about the offseason. It's like all of us fans of every team can say, "Oh, like we're going to be the best." Which, honestly, looking at this defense, we have a much better shot at doing it this year than in years past. Just with all the talent we have here, it's honestly crazy how talented and how many studs we have on this Packers defense. Why me? Amari Rodgers is going to have 500-plus yards. I hope so. Hopefully, year 2, he can take some steps forward. He did say he lost some weight, which he's in better shape now, which is also positive as well. Let's see. So OSO, Campbell, and if Quay lives up to his draft position, we have the best linebacker core. Yeah, we definitely could. If Quay Walker can play. I mean, who knows how long it'll take him to play at a high level. We'll see as a rookie. Hopefully he can. Pico plays. I do think Kevin King could be solid depth in the cornerback room. Just don't put him on anyone fast. Yeah, I honestly, because Kevin King right now is still a free agent unless he's got signed, which I didn't see, but I don't think he has been signed. He's still a free agent. I made a video on it maybe a few weeks ago. If the Packers signed Kevin King as like a 4th corner, I honestly would not be opposed because I think that he still played somewhat well last year. And as like a fourth corner, as like a more of a backup, I think that could make sense. He probably wouldn't cost too much anyways. God bless you. Thank you. Appreciate that. Then here we have from Jaden Evans. Christian Watson is going to explode in this offense. I definitely think he is. I hope it happens in his first season because it takes rookies time to develop sometimes, and it could take him time. And if he doesn't dominate year one, doesn't mean he can't do it a few years in the future, just like with Devontae Adams. Took him some time to become a stud. But Christian Watson with his speed, I think right away he can make an impact. Because when he's out there, teams are going to have to account for his speed because when you run a 4.36 40, like teams have to look out for you and watch out for you because I mean he's fast, and he's big and explosive. I think in a few years he is going to be, he could be one of the top wide receivers in the league. He could be. It's possible. We have Packers fan away. I think Romeo Doubs is going to have a good year. I agree. Brian Gutekunst in like a press conference after the draft said that Romeo Doubs is one of the most polished players when it comes to like I think he was referring to Packers. I don't know if he was referring also to the league, but in his last 2 years in college had over 1,000 yards receiving. He said he's a very polished player. So his first year, maybe he comes in and does some damage here for the Packers. I definitely think it's possible. There's just lots of Packers wide receivers who have potential. And I feel like because we have so many wide receivers with potential, there's going to be a couple that come in and play really well like that. And so maybe not all of them come in and play up to expectations, but if a few guys come in and play very well, the Packers are going to be completely fine. Like the stat that I've keep saying in the past is 7-0 without Devontae, 32 points a game. Like we've seen in the past, the Packers get it done without Devontae. And so I'm honestly not worried. I'm not worried about this Packers offense whatsoever. And with our defense being as good as this Packers defense is, the Packers offense doesn't even have to be like insanely amazing. Like they can play, if this defense can play really well, the Packers offense I think definitely has enough talent to be successful and make this team be one of the top teams in the NFL once again. We have here from JT Womack, how much money do you think Elgton Jenkins will desire? He's on the last year of his contract. He has played more snaps at those key positions in the last 2 years. He is due for a payday. Yeah, when it comes to Elgton Jenkins, I do think that he's going to make lots and lots of money. I think that it'll probably be after he is healthy, maybe when he plays a few games, the Packers want to give him a contract. Maybe they wait till the offseason. And because, though, he is so versatile and he can play at tackle, I think he's going to be paid as a tackle. You would assume that Elgton Jenkins and his agent, considering he can play tackle, want to use him or want him to be paid as a tackle, which I think makes lots of sense. I think the Packers definitely need to keep him around here. And so it's going to be a massive contract. Who knows how big? It's going to probably be a really massive contract. I think Romeo Doubs could surprise some people. He definitely could. I think he could. I am wondering how many. I have a question for you guys. How many receiving yards do you predict Sammy Watkins has this year? How many receiving yards? We have here your mom says, I personally think that Sammy Watkins is going to have a career high season with Rodgers. If he stays healthy, maybe he can. If he stays healthy, he has the opportunity to. Him and Alan Lazard have a lot of opportunity here. And then I think also these rookies have opportunity as well. With Devontae being gone. Squirrel Girl, oh, where'd it go? You think Amari Rodgers could have 900 plus yards? I think that maybe pushing it a little for Amari Rodgers. I feel like if he could get 400, 500 yards, it could be a success. But 900, I'll take it. If all the receivers could have 1,000 yards, Aaron Rodgers would have a record-breaking season. Record-breaking. Hi Bye says Chris Olave could be Rookie of the Year because he went to the New Orleans, right? New Orleans, I'm pretty sure, unless I'm mistaken. Over there with Jameis, he could be good. Michael Thomas should be back as well. Jaden says, do you think A.J. Dillon will overtake Aaron Jones as RB1? I still think it's Jones as 1, but Dillon has been a monster. I still think it's going to be pretty similarly split, like 50-50, similar to where it was last year. I think the Packers will do that just to keep both guys, fresh and healthy. I do think A.J. Dillon, if he was here by himself, could, put up some insane numbers. But now in the league, lots of teams like to split those carries between players. Oh, here we have lots of your guys' predictions for Sammy Watkins. 500 yards, 700, 500 plus, 500, 420, 900, 5 to 600, 420, another 420. Oh, it's the same one. Yeah, I could see that. 500 to 800 yards. I mean, best case, 800, 1,000. That'd be nice. That'd be nice. If he can stay healthy, it's possible. Let's see. Alex, can you make a video on Juwan Winfrey, please? He's quite literally the most untalked about player in the Packers. Maybe so. Maybe I will. Yeah, I mean, hopefully he can take some steps forward. He's been here like what, a year or so now. We'll see. There's lots of receivers stacked up ahead of him, but maybe because he's been here, he has that advantage. So we'll see. We'll see in training camp what happens. We have Magic Z. Why are the Packers waiting on signing Odell? Even if he is going to miss games, they see what happened when they didn't trade for him. He gave the Rams a spark they needed to win the Super Bowl. Yeah, when it comes to receiver, I would not be opposed to that. I would not be opposed to Odell here. Do the Packers need to? I don't think they need to. Would it help? Probably. I mean, it can't hurt to have a player like Odell here once he's healthy. But I feel like a move like that could come later. Maybe not right now at this time. Maybe the Packers wait till the season to see what they have. Sideline report says unretired Jordy Nelson. Yeah, Jordy, come back to Green Bay. We need your assistance. How old is Jordy? Is he 40 years old yet, or is he still in his 30s? Yeah, sign Jordy to like a minimum deal. Pico Play says, I have absolutely no worries about wide receiver room. We have so many good players in that room, and these rookies can be very explosive. We have solid veterans in Cobb and Watkins, and Allen Lazard is solid. Yeah, I do think we have enough wide receiver. We don't need to make an ad, but we could. Will Allen Lazard make the Pro Bowl? He could. With Devontae gone, I mean, it's definitely it's possible. It's possible for sure. Yeah, because that's the thing about like looking ahead. It's like there's so many things we just don't know yet because anything could happen. And so, I mean, I can't wait for the season to start here because I just can't wait for the NFL season to come around. We're getting close. Almost to training camp. Time is slowly ticking, and we're getting there sooner or later. Jaden says, I think Jair will have a Pro Bowl season. Oh, yeah, I agree. If he can stay healthy, hopefully, the Packers have some of the best corners in the entire NFL. Joe says, do you think Aaron can really get Jordy to play for a season? I just feel like Jordy Nelson is too old at this point. Like, I love Jordy Nelson, but let me look up his age right now just so we can like be clear. He's 37, so he's the same age as Aaron. Is Aaron 38, 37? So, I mean, you never know. We have Greg Jennings as 38, so maybe we should just bring back Greg Jennings, Jordy. Devontae Adams could be a good player in Green Bay, being on the Raiders. I feel like he and Aaron could like have a nice connection. Or we could bring back Donald Driver. But he's probably even older, like 40? Yeah, probably somewhere like that. Cademan Bauer, what's up, Cademan? Do you think that Aaron Rodgers gets a haircut? That's a good question. He's growing it out long. Yeah, I feel like it becomes a problem, whenever your hair is like really long and players can like tackle you by it. So if it gets to that point, I think he needs to get a haircut. But if not, I guess he can let the mane like keep flowing. Let's see here. Yeah, I like this software where you can like put comments up. It's pretty cool. Let's see. Grappler 2011. I bet Rodgers plays his best this year. He's got his QB coach back, and I think he will learn to trust more receivers than just the main guys, Lazard, Cobb, and Watkins. I do think, him and Sammy Watkins, or him and Christian Watson, I think they can build that chemistry. And by the time playoffs come around, Christian Watson could look real good. Do you guys think Aaron can win 3 MVPs in a row? Like that would be wild. I would much rather have a Super Bowl, but can he win an MVP? What do you guys think? I think it's possible. The odds, I feel like, after already winning twice in a row, to win a third would be pretty wild. It would be pretty wild if that were to happen. Here we have from Bakigo Plays. This team looks a lot like the 2011 Super Bowl team. Jair is like the new Charles Woodson for us. We have some solid young LBs and solid wide receivers and great RBs. Yeah, a top defense like back in 2011. that could be the Packers this year, 100%, no doubt. I definitely agree with that. How many TDs will Aaron have? Ooh, that's a good question. 40? 40 TDs? More? 50? 45? 53? All right, guys. Well, I've enjoyed this live stream. I'll probably go live in the future, sometime in the future, but I'm going to cut it short here. But I've enjoyed talking with all you guys. Thank you for tuning in. And stay tuned for more Packers content. As always, if you guys are new here, I put up Packers content pretty much every single day. So feel free to subscribe. If you guys want to see that, drop a like on the video if you enjoyed it. But thank you guys for tuning in, and I'll see you guys next time.